finishing this clean to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the 371st episode of the Alfa Insurance Georgia Prep Sports Drive for the GHSA State Title. We've got a great show today. We're going to be joined by Newton's head coach, Josh Skelton. We've covered a lot of Gwinnett schools already. We've been to some of the previews, but I'm really interested just to get a sense of how the Rams' spring went and then what Coach Skelton sees on the horizon for 2024. We'll also talk about last night's baseball state championship results, wrap up spring with some of these final rankings, and then talk about the third class of Georgia High School Football Hall of Famers in the final segment. But we've got Coach Skelton ready to go, so let's bring him on.
Please. The cafeteria as scheduled. So we will disperse for the cafeteria. Please accompany your students to the cafeteria as well, and they will be called per the scheduled time that students should attend the cafeteria.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Again, teachers, please pardon the interruption. Hello. We will disperse per lunch period.
Yeah. I'll fix it. Yeah, we can put the teams are on this year and just say that, these teams will be playing different teams next year. So can we take Todd's story?
All right, Coach, can you hear me now?
Can you put a logo on it, the Hall of Fame logo, like a press?
Can't hear him.
Yeah, do a headline.
One sec, Coach.
Do a date, the logo, the headline, and the story I sent you. And then all right, so it's Alexandria, Noah.
All right, Coach Skelton, can you hear me now?
Good.
All right, perfect. So, yeah, the question just, is today the last day, and then do you have graduation this weekend, or is this truly the last day of the school year?
Well, technically we got one more day tomorrow, which would be a half a day. But our seniors graduate today. In particular, some of the guys who led the way for us last year. I'm very excited for those guys to continue their chapter and in the next phase of their life. So we'll be going out as a staff and obviously as a school going to support the school and those players.
Yes, and so you took over as head coach this year. So, I mean, how was the first school year being at the helm?
Busy, busy. So busy in a good way. We've done a lot of good things this off season. It's been really good. We kicked off right in January and went straight at it in terms of the weight room, getting all our guys acclimated and cultured in terms of how we demand our work. We hired a lot of new guys to our staff and increased our numbers from a staff standpoint. But our off season has been incredible. Can't be more proud of the guys. We've had incredible success in terms of weight gain numbers, how they taking care of their body. We got a good nutrition program for our guys, and we really established something here that's sustainable throughout the summer as well.
And in terms of any new things you added, was that the case this spring, or was it a pretty typical spring schedule?
Yeah. I think this is the best spring practice I've been a part of, because we did some simulations of things leading into practice in terms of just understanding the tempo and what to do in each station. So our practice was really, really high up tempo. Our kids understood what to do at each station and what we need to improve at. We got a chance to actually touch on a lot of special teams this spring, which is a little different for us than we've done in the past. I feel like our special teams unit is very, very important and something that we want to touch base on in spring and summer and fall, obviously. So we accomplished that. Our players got way better. Our coaches got better. Had a heavy emphasis on our tools and some of those young guys getting developed as well. So it went really good.
Perfect. And then Derek Benson, your quarterback, he's heading into his junior year. That seems to just be such a important year for these varsity players. What did you see from him this spring, just how he hit the ground running?
Right. First, he put on 18 pounds of muscle. So that was one of the things that we wanted him to focus on, is development of his body. He's a lot sharper. Year 2 with our offensive coordinator, so he understands the offense. He's able to call it himself. He's a great decision maker. Just the things he's done this all season in terms of watching film, and understanding the game better. He's done a great job, and he's always been poised. He's always, he's a coach's kid, so this kid understands football. But he's just been incredible in terms of his leadership, and I think he's really improved in that area. Just the leadership from guys around him do right thing. President of all the work. I can't be proud of him.
No, we're certainly excited to see what he does this season. Had a great sophomore year. And then in the backfield was Zion Johnson.
Right.
Refresh my memory on him. Was he kind of converted to a running back last year? Obviously had a huge impact. And then what have you seen with his development?
Yeah, so Zion's always been a running back for us. And like I said, since he started every single year here. He's a 14-year-old kid. He showed up big. So just for us, his development, I think what people are going to see even more from him is his ability to catch the ball. I think that's very underrated for him. Obviously, he returned punts and did some things for us last year as well. But just his ability to catch the ball, his pass blocking has improved, and just being able to do different things out of the backfield. So I'm excited about him. I think, in my opinion, man, it's the best back in the country, all-purpose guy. This kid has incredible speed, and he's low maintenance, right? He doesn't need a pat on the back. He takes his body. He's a guy that excelled in tracking and on the football field, and done what he did in the weight room to go out here and stay healthy this year. So I'm very proud of him, and this is a big year for him.
Yep, and then I see last year he averaged about 150 yards a game. He had the 93 yards in that defense to play through the whistle.
Right. I think just overall, man, there was some great battles between our defense and offense this year, with just a number of guys who were returning, letting them guys fly around and make plays. Zion had a lot of big days in practice, obviously. He's a lot more vocal than he's been in the past. Knowing it's his senior year, he's the man in terms of the leadership department. This guy, can split out in the slot. He can run jet sweeps. He can be in the backfield and give you counter and power. He run behind his pass as well. So just all that development, man, has been big for us, and I think he's gonna have an incredible year.
Teachers,
For
please
sure.
escort the second.
All right, and so you have a quarterback returning with starting experience. You have Zion back there. You call him one of the best all-purpose backs in the country. But I guess the one position where you probably are working in some new guys are going to be in the receiving core. But obviously it's a luxury to have the quarterback, the backfield returning. But who impressed you just in the receiving core that you've kind of seen waiting in the wing?
Well, there's one guy in particular I want to talk to. His name is Malik Brightwell. Malik Brightwell has been a great spring practice, being able to maximize his skills. So he's a guy that I've seen take his craft very, very serious in the off season. He wanted to get better. We told him what he needed to do to get better. He put on 18, 19 pounds of muscle. This kid is incredible in terms of speed. He had a big game, man. So I think he's gonna play big for us this year. He improved his blocking on the perimeter. He's engaging in the details of the game, and that's what I love to see. And I anticipate him having a big year.
And how many pounds you say he put on? Because I remember he was, very compact, physical, explosive receiver.
Right, and he put on a good 19, man, the right way too. I mean, he's a guy that wanted to gain some mass. I mean, this guy was probably in the 140s, early 140s last year. Guy ran track and came to the weight room and did some incredible things. Stayed on his protein. And, man, he gained it the right way. This kid is built like a rock right now. Anybody watch the spring game and can compare what he looked like last year will see a considerable difference in his body. Is night and day, and he's gotten faster. So he's done the right things. I think we have a great all-season program here, a lot of resources here to get our guys better. And he took full advantage of those things, and I think people will be surprised at some of the things he do this year. We won't be surprised as a staff, but I think on the outside, people would be surprised how much better this kid has got.
And has he begun to pick up some interest?
Yes, he was just offered by Jacksonville State recently, and so I anticipate a lot of his interest in offer sheet to load up more. I think the more people open the film and just see him in some of these camps and things of that nature and stuff we'll do over the summer, I think that people will see what we see. This kid can fly. This kid can play big boy football at the next level, and we hope that interest sheet continues to go forward for him.
For sure. And then walk us through the spring game, kind of what you saw, how the game played out, and who really won the day.
Yeah. First off, shout out to Shiloh, and they had a good team, man, and we both came out healthy, man. Their head coach talked, and I think the biggest thing for us was coming out healthy. So, I think after the first drive, on both sides of the ball, offense and defense, I think that second drive we started to catch wind. Offensively after that, I think we pretty much scored and pretty much almost possession, man, and just ran our offense. Like I said, we just ran our offense and played Newton football, and everybody got the jitters out and just ran it. And I think that's credit to our quarterback being able to take what the defense was giving him and was going out there and just making plays. And defensively, we tried a lot of new things that we wanted to get on film for us to go out here and evaluate, and I think we accomplished that. And just to see what some of our guys do best. And obviously, it was great for us to take into the summer. So the win-loss was more as important as it was just making sure we get out of there clean. So we accomplished that on both sides, man. I'm excited for the summer. I'm excited for the grind.
For sure. And you were talking about the battles between the offense and defense throughout the spring. They were very exciting. But in terms of that depth defensively, is that what you're excited about experimenting with the rest of the summer and then early next season?
Absolutely. I think the number one thing that's different from our team last year and this year is going to be the depth. We want to have depth, incredible depth on the defensive line, offensive line, secondary. Right now, we got multiple linebackers that can play football and play good football. We got a lot of guys on the outside They understand what to do, and we feel like going to be able to contribute guys who are stepping up and may not have played a lot last year, that had an incredible offseason, and that's going to be able to play this year. So our numbers in terms of depth, quality depth, have increased, and that's a credit to those guys doing what they needed to do in the offseason to be able to contribute. Nothing is given, and those guys have earned the right to be able to contribute for this football team. And obviously, we want to make a run. Obviously, we in it to do what everybody's in it to do. We want to win a championship, right? We want to make a run. We want to go out here and contend each and every year. And depth is going to be a big reason for us being able to do that. So we accomplished that, and we're excited with the depth we got going forward.
For sure. And then a senior that I want to ask you about, I think he's going to be in that linebacker core, Joseph Hassan. Obviously heading into a senior year, that's going to be a big opportunity for him. What are you seeing from him and what he's going to be capable of?
Man, he's been incredible. First off, Joseph Hassan has a 4.0 GPA, so he's been a great student here, and that starts with his parents enforcing all those things in him. He has a great family, and that allows him to come here and invest what he needs to invest to be great. So he has great length. He can play in space. He can play in the box. He's a great communicator. But he's been a great leader over the all season, man. And he's never missed a day. The extra work that he's gotten, the way he's led the linebacker room, the way he's led the defense, the meetings that we've had, and not just with myself, but with the defensive coaches, and making him understand these are the things you need to do to continue to get better. He's done each and every last one of those things. He's improved his body, his mindset. He had a great spring game. Man, we are so excited about this kid. He's a kid that we're cheering for and we're rooting for in terms of his success, because he truly deserves it with the amount of work he's put in.
Yep, he checks all the boxes. The 4.0, I think 6'2", over 210, and got some experience last year. Is he going to play middle linebacker, outside, or is he a guy that can do both?
Yeah, he's going to play in the apex on what we call our rover. He'll play a lot of Mike as well. And like I said, it's a credit of us being able to do that. It's also credited with the other guys who have developed and allow us to move him around. People see him standing up, in the edge as well. We don't want to keep, just like offenses are trying to put their best guys, in position. We want to do the same with our best players as well. So we'll see a lot of things with Son, not just playing in the box, but we want to make sure we expand his role and make sure he has some positional flexibility every Friday. And I think if we do that, we'll maximize ability.
No doubt. And then last year, let's talk about that a little bit. You guys were 8-3, had a phenomenal season. A lot of the wins were complete blowouts. You guys had great playmakers on both sides of the ball. And then the 3 losses were all kind of toss-up games. So you guys were really close right in there. Another phenomenal season. What's been the emphasis, though, just in the weight room, at practice, on just closing games out, knowing that a lot of them are going to be these 4-quarter clutch situations?
Yeah, the key word that we've been using is just finish, right? We want to be want to finish the right way, and I think we had some losses where, particularly the Parkview game last year, I think that was within 7, and you look at the Archie game, not the Archie game, excuse me, the South Gwinnett game, which was a close game as well. But we just didn't finish, right? And that's on us. Starts on us as a staff. So we wanted to emphasize finishing, and our guys have taken that mindset, and they're really going forward and from a mindset department and just making sure they finish the right way. And everything we do, we want to emphasize finishing. So our staff has experience now. Our kids have experience. The expectation here is to win every game, and I think last year was a big season for us. I don't know if that's ever happened in that capacity as long as I've been here, although we've had some great teams here. But it's not going to be a shock for us to be successful here anymore. And we're demanding success. We expect to win. we want to win right now, and our kids want to win right now. So I think that'll be the difference. We've got a lot of new coaches that have came in and hit the ground running. There's great coaches and emphasize the details and understand our culture. We got a lot of alumni that's coming in as coaches and have done great at other places. And we've been able to bring them back home, so they know what it means to play here. They know culture standpoint and why we want to win. So that'll be a major difference, man. And, we plan on finishing the right way this year.
Absolutely. And then just let's talk about the schedule real quick. Just the non-region games. You got 3 of them. It's going to be at Eastside, Alcovy, and then at East St. Louis. Talk about just scheduling those opponents and what you guys look forward to with this schedule.
Yeah, our county rivalries on the east side of Alcovy is always good for our community. It's something our kids and their kids look forward to. We always play them early in the season, so there's nothing better than to kick those weeks off with an exciting atmosphere. We go out there and get ready to battle those guys, and that's always a dog fight. We'll go out there and play those guys and come out of that week, and then we'll actually go to Douglas County. We play Douglas County here at home on the 30th. We're going to play them on a Saturday. Douglas County has a great team, had a great year last year. Got a lot of respect for their head coach, got a lot of respect for their team. I'm super excited to get an opportunity to go and play those guys, and then after that, man, we'll go out there and play East St. Louis. We actually gonna get on a plane and go out there and play those guys. I think it's going to be really, really exciting for our community, our parents, and our kids. Some of our kids have never been on an airplane before, or not even have been in certain parts of Georgia. So for these kids to get this type of experience is one of my goals, and I think we're mature. We're a mature team, and we'll look at it as a business trip and go out there and play a great team in East St. Louis. Man, they have a great history there. Got a lot of respect for their program, and it'll be a great challenge for us. And I truly believe that our non-region schedule will get us prepared for our region, and hopefully get us prepared for the run we want to make long term.
No doubt. And so, yeah, I'm going to have to update our schedule. So it's going to be, let's see, the Alcovy game. Then is that going to be at Douglas County, or are you guys hosting?
Douglas County actually come here.
Awesome. And then taking the plane trip to East St. Louis, you'll have the bye week, and then Archer. So, yeah, that is going to be a heck of a month for you guys.
Right. Absolutely. Then, looking forward to it. For sure.
No doubt. And then last question, just who are you guys going to scrimmage before the season kicks off in the summer?
We scrimmage Milton. So we'll scrimmage Milton. I want to say that's the 9th. We'll go to their place and scrimmage those guys before the season kicks off. Coach Reeves obviously has a great football team. He's also one of my good friends. His dad, people don't know his dad was actually a coach over here at Newton before for many, many years. And so I have a great go out there and kick the scrimmage off and box off with those guys season from there.
Awesome. Well, Coach, thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it. Congrats to all of your class of 2024 grads. Glad you guys made it through the spring healthy, yes. And we cannot wait to see you guys in 2024.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
You bet. Go Rams. All right. So there goes Coach Skelton. So he has been – sorry, got the audio back. So he's been at Newton as an assistant. And the thing I always say about Newton, you talk to any coach, they haven't ever won a state title, but, I mean, they are one of those teams that's just right on the edge of breaking through. It's obviously tough because they're always in that same sort of region with the Graysons. They actually beat Grayson last year to open the region. Grayson had to turn its season around, and that's such an intense rivalry. You wouldn't think so because they're different counties or whatever, but, man, Newton and Grayson, whether it's basketball or football, that is going to be a big one. So let's go over the region schedule real quick. They aren't going to have Parkview or Brookwood anymore, but they're going to keep Archer. They're going to keep Grayson. And they're also going to close out the season with South Gwinnett. That was the game last year that he was alluding to. They ended up falling short. I think turnovers might have been a bigger issue for them last year. I think with the returning experience offensively, the run game, they should do much better in the turnover margin, and they'll want to avenge that loss last year to South Gwinnett. And then they actually, once that game was over against South Gwinnett, that was when the next week they beat Archer 44-17, and that earned them the number 2 seed behind Grayson. They hosted Camden County and lost another one-score game. So all 3 of their losses last year were one-score games: Archer, South Gwinnett, and Camden. But they had the big win over Grayson and really just blew out so many opponents. You look at points per game offensively, you look at what they did defensively. Last year was probably the best season since 2015 when they won their last region title. I want to see if that was one of their first region championships. That was their first since 1987 in 2015. So this is a team that has made the playoffs 12 of the last 13 years, but they've only advanced past the first round in 2 of those years. They've had they made the playoffs 7 of the last 8 years, and they've had 7 straight first round exits. So what's the primary goal of Newton this year?
How big do you think that would
It's obviously advance past the first round. Once they do that, and we've seen this with some other teams that finally broke through. I'm trying to think who would come to mind. Think about it by next show. But once you get that taste of playoff success, I think that's going to give them a ton of confidence. They've been killing it in the weight room. Newton always has the size. They always have the speed. And then one of the things he really emphasized last year was focus, in-game focus, and just basing it off of the type of experience they have coming back, and then some of these impressive GPAs. I think his team is, as he said, ready for that business trip in 2014. They're ready to handle business, and certainly a team to put on the radar. So really want to thank Coach Skelton for coming on what was the last day of school, and can't wait to see them. I'm sure we'll see them this summer. But let's go ahead and take our first break, thank our sponsors, and we'll be back on the other side.
Just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, does it matter if this leaks?
It don't matter to me. Can't see it from my house.
Illegal use of hands, improper training.
GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com has 14 different highly skilled trades with tuition-free training in our certified apprenticeship programs to train you the right way. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
All right, welcome back. So yeah, we're really excited about Newton this season. Hoping they can get past that first round and really put people on notice. They are going to be very fun to watch. But let's go ahead. We'll talk about some baseball action. The season is over. It ended last night with Class 2A, and North Cobb Christian got the win over Appling County. Appling County prevented North Cobb Christian's rival Mount Perrin from a rematch. They got the big win in the semifinals. Class 2A was the most delayed out of all of them, and they also were scheduled to be the final series, but the semifinals didn't come to fruition until late. They had multiple delays. They had to resume midway through the action. but North Cobb Christian is back on top for a repeat. So let's go over this right now. So after getting their state championship rings 1 year ago, North Cobb Christian's baseball players made a video. They were asked, "How do you feel right now?" Head coach Jimmy Keene said Tobias Rupp had an answer that struck a chord. "It makes me want to do it again." The Eagles did and achieved it last night. North Cobb Christian defeated Appling County 3-0 in the deciding Game 3 of the best-of-3 series Tuesday night. That is a very solid win. And the thing about baseball, there is always an unpredictable factor into it. You saw that in Class 6A with the blowout with Pope and Etowah, 15-0. It's like no other sport. I mean, think about basketball. Yeah, some team might catch fire from threes in a particular game. In football, maybe someone's just having a bad game. But in baseball, that can happen. If a team gets hot, if you have some errors, you can have some blowouts. So a 3-0 victory to clinch it, that is rock solid for North Cobb Christian. They've been number 1 throughout the season, and they obviously earned that right with that victory. North Cobb Christian finished its season 36-5. Max Preps had the Eagles ranked 12th in the country going into the championship series. It's a lot different, Keene said, about the second straight state title. This is a different team, but that makes it even more special. It was the 4th championship overall for North Cobb Christian, which previously won twice as a part of the GHSA, including in 2006 with Keene as a player. Not sure what year they joined the GHSA, but obviously that's a much different accomplishment, and Class 2A was very talented these last 2 years. North Cobb Christian sent junior Ross Rea out to slow down Appling County, which had seized momentum with a 3-0 win themselves in Game 2. Ross Rea did not disappoint. He pitched a 3-hitter, striking out 2 without a single walk. No Appling County base runner reached second base in the game. Very impressive. They're a good hitting team. I just had to get ahead of the count and let my off-speed stuff work, Rea said. Every game he pitched in, he's been incredible. He's been giving us a chance to win each time. I don't think we're at all worried about Ross taking the mound, and he was on another planet tonight. The Eagles needed that type of performance with Appling County's Colin Awaldson matching zeros with Ray through 4 innings. Awaldson was roughed up for 5 runs in 2 innings in the series opener Monday night. The GHSA rules limit a pitcher from throwing more than 120 in a state tournament series, and Awaldson made the most of his final 38 pitches before having to leave Game 3. He had a 1-hitter against North Cobb Christian before handing the ball over in the 5th inning. We didn't know if we'd be able to score enough runs. We just needed to stay calm, North Cobb Christian senior catcher Hudson Newell said. The Eagles took advantage of the pitching change by manufacturing 3 runs with a concoction of 2 walks, patient batting by them, 2 errors, and then a hit batsman. Carter Van Orden was the one that was hit by a pitch to lead off the inning, while a wild pitch moved him to second. Ryan Kelly followed with a walk, and Brock Parker sacrificed them into scoring position. A wild pitch brought in the first run, and Michael Molinax's hard-hit grounder was booted to bring in the second. A second error in the inning after Molinax stole second base allowed the 3rd run. It was more than enough of a cushion for Rea, who retired 12 batters in a row from the 2nd to the 6th inning. Heading into the 7th, North Cobb Christian huddled at 3rd base. We talked about just keeping our heads level, making the plays in front of us, and getting the first out. Keep a level mind and get it done, said Asher Sabon, who was the winning pitcher in Game 1. A ground out and then a strikeout had Appling County down to its last out. Some Appling County fans who made the 70-mile trip up from Baxley wore t-shirts that read, "We've come to take the championship." However, the bounty belonged to the Eagles after shortstop Jackson Ugla squeezed a soft pop-up to end the game. North Cobb Christian's players raced out of the dugout, spraying water on their teammates, and a celebratory dog pile ensued by the pitching mound. This team has been tested out of the gate, Keene said. This group has been phenomenal. So what a way to close out the season. North Cobb Christian repeating. Might have even had an even better season than last year. They had the big win against an out-of-state opponent at Truist Park. And I think they're the team that actually beat IMG Academy this year. So when he says battle-tested, they certainly were. So let's pull up these final rankings of the season real quick. And we'll have our rankings coming out today. I just want to see where they ended up in the Max Preps poll. Oops, I accidentally clicked on North Cobb. All right, so very impressive. And so these rankings came out on Monday. They'll be updated for the final time, obviously next Monday. But heading into this Game 3, number 12 in the country in the Max Preps rankings, very impressive. They closed it out, I believe, with an 8-game winning streak. Point up the national now just to see who else was in there from Georgia. You had Harlem, the 3A state champs, finishing at number 9. Would have been the highest. You got Lowndes up there at 20. And then let me just pull up one more baseball before we hit the final segment. And Stars Mills obviously way up there. And you can go to scoreatl.com for all the baseball results, but they swept Cherokee Bluff on Monday 11-1, 2-1. So that was Cherokee Bluff's attempt to win its first ever state title. But Stars Mill just had such a strong year, and I don't think they lost a game within 4A all season. They lost to Noonan early on, which was a team that made a lot of noise. They ended up actually splitting that series, so you can't really attribute that too much to a loss. And then they fell to McCracken County. So great run by Stars Mill, not losing a single game within 4A all season, and also going 23-0 at home. So quite a playoff run and season for the Panthers. But let's go ahead. We'll close it out. Thank our sponsors. We'll be back on the other side to talk about the Hall of Fame.
Dang, where you get this car?
You need to join the union.
The union?
Absolutely. You can get 10 of these.
Union construction workers earn the highest wages with the best benefits and the most protection in the construction industry. Find your career in construction. Go to georgiaconstructioncareers.com and start your future today.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
All right, welcome back. So it was announced today, the third class of the Georgia High School Football Hall of Fame. It is a 30-member class, follows two other star-powered Hall of Fame groups of guys. And I feel like this year, the main takeaway for me, so out of these 30 players, we're going to have 22 new schools that are represented in the Hall of Fame with their first ever individuals. So let's go over those real quick. One is going to be Kells Jonathan Dwyer. He obviously went to Georgia Tech also. Was a fantastic running back and Kell's not the oldest school. I think they actually opened around the time he suited up for the Longhorns. He was their first ever, I believe, college prospect, and was an all-state running back. Had such a phenomenal career. I had to play him when I was at Walton in JV and varsity. He beat us both times, and no one on our team wanted to try to tackle him one-on-one. He looked like a Pittsburgh Steeler running back in high school, and obviously he's continuing to give back to the game. He's on that Kell coaching staff. Love to see it, and so I could not be happier to see Jonathan Dwyer get inducted into this class. He was also one of the guys, there were 14 of them that got in out of the 30 that have been on every single ballot the last 3 years. And he was always a guy that received double-digit votes. He was on the edge the last 2 seasons, but then this year, sorry, not seasons, years, but this year he got a lot of votes and was able to get in. All right, so another Cobb County guy that is going to be his first, or his school's first inductee is Hudson Mason out of Lassiter. He is also one of the inductees that has been on every single ballot, and he joins a fantastic group of quarterbacks. Going over Hudson's accomplishments, his 2 years at Lassiter was incredible. The numbers he put up, he obviously set state records, actually beat the LaGrange quarterback. I can't remember his name at the time, but his numbers his senior year were incredible. Ended up passing for 85 touchdowns in 2 years as a starter. Really helped revolutionize offenses at the high school level. He was a college-ready player. As a senior, he got better each week of the season. That generated all the hype. He helped put up 71 points on South Gwinnett in the playoffs, which also fueled a record-setting performance. And I think that wasn't just in a playoff game. I think that's an all-time passing record. Passed for something like 560 yards in that game. The closest I've seen someone come to that was actually Juju Lewis in the state championship game. He lost to Mill Creek his freshman season. But Hudson Mason is in first from Lassiter. Another first, and a Georgia Tech guy, Demarius Thomas from West Lawrence. He obviously was a great player at Tech too, a fan favorite in the NFL, and he tragically passed away. He was a first-time ballot guy, but I feel like the timing of his passing, he would have probably appeared, and because there is a limit on how many years you have to be removed from the game, but he was a first-time guy, and he got in with a ton of votes. So he is representing West Lawrence as their first ever player. One of the other top vote getters is Roswell's Jeff Bowers. He is a 1970 graduate. He appeared on the ballot for the first time last year. Did very well, nearly missed out, and then he gets in. Obviously, a lot of board members who knew about Jeff Bauer were huge advocates of him. You read about his bio and what he accomplished, but he is one of the quarterbacks that's going to get in. All right, we also have George Atkinson from Johnson, Savannah. He is the first Atom Smasher to get in there. He is a 1963 GIA halfback and DB. He was one of the 10 first-timers that was able to get in. All right, you had Washington High School's Silas Jameson, another GIA player. He appeared on the ballot for the first time last year. We had 4 GIA guys get in this year. You also had Jack Pitts of Trinity. He was on the ballot all 3 years. One of his former teammates is also in. And then Tommy Hart of Ballard Hudson. He was on the ballot for 2 years, and he becomes the second Ballard Hudson player. So those were 2 that are going to be represented by multiple Hall of Famers. Thomas Davis out of Randolph Clay, unbelievable athlete that earned an opportunity to become a great linebacker at UGA, and then had one of the best pro careers just in terms of coming back from injuries. I think he might have even won Comeback Player of the Year twice, dealing with all his knee injuries. An absolute warrior, and he is representing Randolph Clay. Another first-time guy, one of the youngest to enter the Hall, Alec Ogletree out of Noonan. He was one of the top vote getters, one of the most freak athletes we've seen defensively, just an absolutely unstoppable force. Went to UJ, went into the NFL, and was always impressive. Everett Strooper, he was one of the pre-1948s. He graduated from Riverside Military in 1913. He was on the ballot all 3 years he got in. Lynn Haas out of Wayne County becomes the first Wayne County player to get in. He comes from the 1948-59. He's joined in that group by Lauren Hargrove, and he surprisingly is the first ever Fitzgerald player. We've had multiple Fitzgerald players nominated and come close, but Lauren Hargrove becomes the first. Alfred Jenkins from Hoganville, he was unbelievable wide receiver, ended up setting the Falcons all-time receiving record, and he is represented in that, I believe, 1960s. And Alfred Jenkins, he was a first-time ballot entry. So he got in on the first attempt. He's joined in the 1960s by Cedartown's Edgar Chandler, who many consider one of the best offensive linemen to ever come through the state. He's a 1963 graduate. All right, you got Chambly's Andy Spiva, one of the top vote getters this year. He's a linebacker from Chambly High School. I believe some of the coaches were saying he's one of the best defensive players they have ever seen. Mount DeSales, Ben Zambiazzi. He was inducted into the, what decade was that? Find that real quick. Okay, also the 1970s, a 1973 grad. He was on the ballot all 3 years, finally got in. Homer Jordan from Cedar Shoals, another quarterback that was able to get in. He was from the 1970s, a 1978 grad from Cedar Shoals, and one of the 10 first-time ballot inductees. Another one was Griffin's Jesse Tuggle, the best tacklers to ever play in the NFL and the Falcons, obviously. Dalton's Bill Mayo got in, and that was a class of 1980. So he's one of the 5 1980s. Bill Mayo was on all 3 ballots. Another guy that was on all 3 is Thomas County Central's Joe Burns, an unbelievable big-time playmaker. Played for the Buffalo Bills, running back, 1997 grad from Thomas County Central. I think that's fitting that he was able to get in right after his alma mater won the state title this last year. Then you have Decula's Terry Harvey. He was on the ballot for the first time last year. He got in. And then LaGrange's Trey Blackman, a 2004 graduate. If you just Google his name, there's some guys that saw him play from scout.com. They said, they were asked after all the games they've covered, who's the best defensive player you've ever seen play? And Trey Blackman was that guy. And he's just a fierce defender. Was all over the field. And the few highlights I saw, as soon as they snapped the ball, he would just go straight to the backfield and blow it up. So I guess this was before they had some ability to watch film. I don't know if he just caught every team by surprise, but that was his specialty. He was a disruptive, absolute force. There were 6 total LaGrange guys on this year's ballot. 5 of them have been on all 3, and he becomes the first Granger to get in. So I think that is also significant. We'll have LaGrange in the Corky Cal this year, and also LaGrange achieved its 800th all-time victory as a program this last year, joining Valdosta as the only Georgia school to ever hit that 800 mark. All right, so we've gone through the 22. Sorry, one more. David Green, quarterback from South Gwinnett, he got in. He's the first. He was on the ballot for the first time, and obviously he led UGA to SEC championships and was a starter before DJ Shockley, who got into the Hall last year. All right, a couple other guys that are going to be joining teammates in there. You had Leonard Pope from Americas High School. He was a second-time nominee. He joins, gosh, there's probably 4 Americas grads, including Dan Reeves, who got in last year. Let's see. Robert Levette, running back from Cartersville, one of the top vote getters. He joins, I believe, Ronnie Brown, who got in last year. Jerry Mays from Thompson becomes the second Bulldog to get in. Oh, yeah, Kent Hill from Americas. He also is coming in. So Leonard Pope and Kent Hill, I believe that's the only school that produced 2 2024 inductees. Frank Boyles from Decatur High School, he's coming in the pre-1948s. He was a first-time nominee that got in. He joins Everett Strooper in that pre-1948. And then, let's see, David Rocker from Fulton High School. He was a first-time nominee, and he joins a couple other Fulton grads. But yeah, that is it for the top 30. Go to scoreatl.com. Within the next hour, I have a post that will go over this year's class. The date for the Hall of Fame is going to be at the College Football Hall of Fame again this year. Just the difference between year 1 and year 2. Lots of new exciting features were added. I believe this year is going to be very exciting. We'll see a lot of the former inductees come back to welcome in the new class. And then I think we'll also see some of the head coaches of these inductees come in to support their players. I think that's going to be a very special part as well. There's a good mix of Georgia Tech and Georgia guys this year. I think this is probably the closest Georgia Tech's come to matching the numbers of the Bulldogs. Lots of legends. And yeah, that will be October 26th. So definitely look forward to that. That's going to be UGA's bye week. I think that's right after they play Texas too. So it should be a lot of fun. But that is all we have time for today. I'll also have the baseball final rankings posted at scoreatl.com, the Hall of Fame story with a breakdown of the class, and then we'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock for Keeping It Real with Najee Wilkins. Thank you to our guests today, and we'll see you then.